Right now, as you watch this video, someone is trying to control what you think. Not a villain, not a cartoon bad guy, a scientist, a marketing team, a government advisor, a social media algorithm. And here's the scary part. It is already working. The clothes you want to buy, the political opinions you hold, the way you feel about yourself when you scroll through Instagram at night. None of that happened by accident. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain. We are going to talk about the real tools that powerful people and powerful organizations use to shape your mind. And most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is psychology, history, and documented science. Stay with me, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Welcome back, everyone. If you are new here, this channel is about one thing: understanding the dark and bright sides of the human mind so you can build a stronger, smarter version of yourself. Today's topic has been requested hundreds of times, and I understand why. We live in a world full of noise, news, ads, social media, political messages, and most of us feel deep down that something does not quite add up, that we are being pushed and pulled in directions we did not choose. So today we are going to break it all down, clearly, honestly, and without fear. We will cover three big areas. Number one, how media shapes your emotions and beliefs. Number two, how advertising psychology gets inside your head. Number three, social engineering, how groups and governments manipulate behavior at scale. Let's get into it. Here is something most people do not know. Back in 1972, two researchers named Maxwell McCombs and Donald Shaw published a study. Their finding was simple but world-changing. The media does not tell you what to think. It tells you what to think about. This is called agenda-setting theory. Think about it this way. Imagine a town has 10 problems: crime, potholes, unemployment, water quality, school funding, and more. The local newspaper decides to write about only one of those problems every single day for a month. What happens? People in that town start believing that one problem is the most important issue, not because it is the worst, but because it is the most visible. This is happening to all of us, every single day, on a massive scale. The news channels you watch, the websites you visit, the feeds you scroll, they are not showing you the world. They are showing you a carefully selected version of the world. And your brain, being the pattern recognition machine that it is, starts to believe that version is complete and true. Now let's go one step deeper. There is a concept called the Overton Window. It was named after a political analyst named Joseph Overton. The idea is this: at any given time in society, there is a narrow range of ideas that are considered acceptable to discuss in public. Ideas outside that range are seen as extreme, crazy, or dangerous. But here's the key: that window can be moved. If you want to make people accept an idea that currently seems extreme, you do not push that idea directly. You start by introducing something even more extreme. Suddenly, the original idea seems moderate by comparison. This is used in politics all the time. Introduce a radical proposal, watch people panic, then offer a compromise, which was actually your goal from the beginning. By moving the edges of what seems acceptable, you slowly shift where the center sits. And most people never notice. Let me ask you something honest. How do you feel after watching the news? Most people say anxious, angry, sad, or helpless. That is not an accident. Studies have shown that negative news increases viewership. Fear, outrage, and sadness keep people watching longer than positive stories. This is called emotional priming, when a media outlet puts you in a specific emotional state before delivering information. When you are afraid, your critical thinking goes down. Your brain shifts into survival mode. You are more likely to accept simple explanations and strong authority figures. Here's a real-world example. Before an election, a news station runs back-to-back stories about crime, terrorism, and economic collapse. Viewers feel scared. Then a political candidate appears on screen promising strength and safety. The fear was not the main story. The fear was the setup. This is not new. Edward Bernays, the man many call the father of public relations, used emotional priming in the 1920s to sell cigarettes to women, reshape public opinion about countries, and even help a US-backed company overthrow a foreign government. The tools have changed. The psychology has not. Now let us talk about something that has only become possible in the last 15 years, and it may be the most powerful mind control tool ever created. It is called the filter bubble. This term was invented by internet activist Eli Pariser. Here is how it works. Every time you click, like, share, or even pause on a piece of content online, the algorithm learns something about you. Over time, it builds a detailed profile, and then it starts feeding you only content that matches that profile. The goal of the algorithm is not to inform you. The goal is to keep you on the platform as long as possible. And the content that keeps you engaged the longest is content that triggers strong emotions, usually outrage or fear. So here's what happens. You end up in a world where everyone agrees with you, where threats feel bigger than they are, and where people who think differently seem completely irrational, because you have literally never seen the content they are consuming. The algorithm did not just change what you see, it changed how you see the entire world. And the most disturbing part? It happened invisibly. You never opted in. You just kept scrolling. Let us talk about advertising, because this is where mind control becomes personal. The average person in the United States sees between 4,000 and 10,000 ads per day. That number sounds impossible, but think about every logo, banner, sponsored post, product placement in a TV show, billboard you pass on the highway. It adds up fast. Now here's the question no one asks. Do those ads actually change your behavior? The answer is yes. And the industry has spent over 100 years perfecting exactly how. Here is a name you may recognize. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis. His nephew was a man named Edward Bernays, the same person I mentioned earlier. Bernays took his uncle's ideas about the unconscious mind and applied them to marketing. His core belief was this: people do not buy products for logical reasons. They buy products to fulfill unconscious emotional needs. He did not ask, how do I make people need this product? He asked, what does this product make people feel about themselves? For example, when Bernays worked for a bacon company in the 1920s, he did not advertise bacon. Instead, he got doctors to publicly say that a hearty breakfast was healthy. Sales exploded. He did not sell a product. He sold a belief. The product just happened to be attached. This is still how every major advertising campaign works today. Modern advertising psychology relies on a small number of very powerful triggers. Let me walk you through the most important ones. Number 1, scarcity. Only 3 left in stock. Sale ends tonight. When something feels rare, we want it more. This is hardwired into our brains from ancient times when resources were genuinely limited. Number 2, social proof. 10 million customers. Bestseller, as seen on TV. We are social creatures. If everyone else is doing something, our brain reads that as a signal that it must be good. Number 3, authority. 9 out of 10 dentists recommend. Scientists agree. We trust people in positions of authority, even fake ones, even people paid to say what they say. Number 4, reciprocity. Ever get a free sample at a grocery store? That is not generosity. When someone gives you something for free, you feel a psychological obligation to give something back, usually your money. Number 5, identity. The most powerful trigger of all. Advertising no longer sells products. It sells who you are. Buy this car and you are successful. Wear these shoes and you are a rebel. Drink this coffee and you are sophisticated. You are not buying the item. You are buying the story of yourself. Number 6, loss aversion. Studies by psychologist Daniel Kahneman prove that losing something feels twice as painful as gaining something of equal value feels good. So advertisers frame everything as something you might lose. Don't miss out. Don't let this pass you by. Number 7, the mere exposure effect. This one is subtle. Research shows that the more you are exposed to something, even without paying attention to it, the more you begin to like it. Brands spend billions on repetition, not because they are trying to convince you of something. They are simply trying to make themselves feel familiar. And familiar feels safe. We are now entering an era where advertisers are not guessing at psychology. They are measuring it directly. The field is called neuromarketing. Companies use brain scans, eye tracking technology, and biometric data to watch how your brain responds to ads, colors, packaging, and words in real time. They can measure your pupil dilation when you look at a product. They can track which part of a package your eyes land on first. They can see which words trigger emotional responses in the brain. Coca-Cola, Frito-Lay, Google, and major political campaigns have all used neuromarketing research. The result? Advertising that is not designed to speak to your mind. It is designed to bypass your mind entirely and speak directly to your nervous system. We have talked about how the media shapes what you think about. We have talked about how advertisers shape what you want. Now let us talk about the biggest level, how institutions shape what you do. Social engineering is the practice of manipulating large groups of people, not through force, but through information, symbols, incentives, and environment design. It sounds like science fiction. It is completely real. In 2008, two behavioral economists, Richard Thaler and Cass Sunstein, published a book called Nudge. It became one of the most influential books in government policy history. Their central idea: you can change what people choose without restricting their freedom, just by changing how choices are presented. This is called a nudge. Here is a famous example. A cafeteria wants students to eat healthier. They do not remove the unhealthy food. They do not punish students for choosing it. They simply move the healthy food to the front of the line and place the junk food at the back. Healthy food choices increased by over 25%. No rules changed, just the environment. Now ask yourself, who is designing your environment? The layout of a supermarket, the default settings on your phone, the order of results on a search engine, the position of products on a shelf. All of these are nudges. All of them are shaping your behavior. Almost none of them are designed in your favor. Let us talk about something called psychological operations, or PSYOPs. This term is associated with the military, and it simply means using information to influence the beliefs and behaviors of a target group. PSYOPs have been used in wars for centuries, spreading false information about enemy forces, printing fake newspapers, dropping leaflets from aircraft. But here is what changed in the 21st century. PSYOPs moved online, and they became available not just to governments, but to corporations, political campaigns, and well-funded interest groups. Here is the basic playbook, which has been documented and studied extensively. Step 1. Identify what your target group already fears or is angry about. Step 2. Amplify that fear or anger with real stories, exaggerated stories, or carefully selected facts. Step 3. Offer a clear enemy, a person, group, or idea to blame. Step 4. Offer a clear solution, usually support for the group running the campaign. This is not speculation. The 2016 US election, the Brexit campaign, multiple European elections, all involve documented influence operations using exactly these steps across social media platforms. The goal is not to make you believe something false. The goal is to make you feel something strong, and then direct that feeling toward a predetermined outcome. Here is something that might surprise you. The techniques used by cults to recruit and retain members are remarkably similar to the techniques used by social media platforms, certain political movements, and even some corporations. Psychologist Robert Cialdini studied influence for decades. So did researcher Stephen Hassan, who has studied cult behavior extensively. The core tactics are: love bombing, make someone feel immediately welcomed, seen, and special. This is what happens when you join a new platform, community, or movement. You get validation, you get attention. It feels warm and safe. Us versus them. Create a strong group identity by defining a common enemy. We are the awakened ones. Everyone else is asleep, dangerous, or corrupt. Information control. Slowly limit the sources of information you trust. Outside sources become suspect. Internal sources become gospel. Sunk cost. Once you have invested time, identity, and relationships into a belief system or community, leaving becomes psychologically painful. The longer you stay, the harder it becomes to question. Sound familiar? These are not just cult tactics. These are the design principles behind partisan media channels, certain corners of social media, multi-level marketing companies, and intense brand communities. Now, the most important part, knowing this information is not enough. Awareness is only the first step. Here are 5 practical tools you can use starting today. 1. Slow down your emotional reactions. When a piece of content makes you feel intense fear, rage, or outrage, pause. That emotion is often the trigger, not the truth. Ask, who benefits from me feeling this way? 2. Diversify your information sources. Deliberately seek out credible sources you normally disagree with, not to be convinced, but to see the full picture. A map with half the roads missing will get you lost. 3. Audit your defaults. Look at the default settings on your devices. Look at where you spend your attention. None of those defaults were set for your benefit. They were set for someone else's profit. 4. Learn the triggers. Now that you know scarcity, social proof, authority, identity, and loss aversion, you will start to see them everywhere, and seeing them weakens their power over you. 5. Protect your attention like it is money, because it is. Your attention is the product being sold. Every time you give it freely without intention, someone else is cashing it in. The most powerful thing you can do in the modern world is to become a conscious consumer of media, of advertising, and of the communities you belong to. Here's the truth I want to leave you with. The people and systems we talked about today, they are not all evil. Most are simply doing what works, what gets results, what keeps the money flowing and the power structures in place. But you have the right to opt out. You have the right to think for yourself, consume consciously, and build your own reality rather than living inside someone else's. That is what this channel's about. Not fear, not paranoia, clarity. If this video added value to your thinking today, share it with one person who needs to see it. Subscribe if you want more content like this, because we are just getting started, and I will see you in the next one. Take care of your mind, because not everyone else is.